Good morning, Rob. How are you today?
Good, thanks, Ivan. Good to see you again.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming back on today for this mini series. So we've got another two short videos this week, all about interviews. The next question in this series is, how do you prefer to answer questions about yourself and previous jobs?
Okay, well, happy to answer those. To start with, let's take there's two questions there. So how do you prepare to talk about maybe your skills and experiences? First of all, as part of your preparation, you're going to think about what skills and experience do you have that are relevant to this particular role. You could have a list, and we've spoken in another couple of videos about making this list of skills that you might have that are relevant, and we're presuming they're probably on your CV as well. Compare yourself to the job specification or the job description, or if you don't have that, compare yourself to what they're asking for in the advert, and try and relate and highlight your specific skills and experience that are relevant to that particular job itself. I always think there's three types of answers you can give in an interview. If you've had a look at the advert and you think to yourself, right, I can tell people a real and specific answer about that one. If I haven't got a real and specific answer, I could maybe tell a real and similar story that demonstrates that skill. And if you haven't done a real and specific or real and similar thing to what they're looking for, then have a think about a theoretical answer. So you could say, for example, I haven't done that specific thing. However, with my skills and experience, this is how I'd approach it. So realistically, you could prepare answers for everything in an interview scenario, because you have always got the theoretical answer to give if you haven't got a real life one to describe. So they're always going to ask you questions like, tell me about a time when, or give me an example of, and these are often known as competency-based questions. They're testing your competence to be able to do the job. These, I always prepare people to say competency questions like, tell me about a time when, or give me an example of, actually happen even in an informal interview. You don't need to be told that it's a competency interview to expect those types of questions.
And is there any special format that they can use, Rob?
I always recommend the STAR format, which is STAR, and that stands for situation, task, action, and result. So if you're preparing a story, you're going to tell them what the situation was. You can then talk them through the task that you needed to do as part of that situation. The action part is the bit that you did. It's not about we, it's about I. This is what I did as the action. And what was the result? What was the result and the outcome for you, for the business or the particular situation overall? I've recently heard people adding into an extra R on the end of it. So it's STAR with two R's at the end. And the extra R stands for a reflection. So you may get questions after you've told your story as a reflective one. So you may get asked things like, what did you learn from that situation? Or what would you do differently if it happened again? So a STAR format helps you tell the story in the right order and also helps you prepare the story. And don't forget what I've said as well, those stories can be real and specific, real and similar, or very much theoretical.
Great. And I guess, the question always comes up in interviews. So what would you advise, suggest, if they ask you, tell me about yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Ivan. I think a good question, and a fairly common one as well. And we do get a bit confused sometimes to think, well, where do I start and where do I finish? Realistically, you can prepare a bit of a script for this. And I think that it's okay to share a bit about you personally. So here's the three things. I cover a bit of personal stuff, cover a bit of business or work, and cover a little bit about the future. So you're trying to wrap this story overall. They've not said, just tell me about your last job. They've said, tell me about yourself. So I always think it's good to share a little bit of the personal stuff, maybe where you're from, where you studied, what your situation is at the moment overall. They'll want to know a lot about your last job. And a brief about what you want to do in the immediate future. But when you're talking about your previous role or your current role, don't just reel off a dull job description. Think about describing things like this. Tell them what you're responsible for in brief. Tell them what you enjoyed about the job. Tell them what you learnt in the job, and also tell them what you achieved. 4 areas there which really personalizes your most recent and the last few jobs, rather than just reeling off that job description that you might have only looked at once. So also, as well as that, you want to tell about what you want to do in the immediate future. So, if you're telling people why you finished recently or why you're looking to move on, tell them, you're looking for a challenging new role, you're looking to use specific skills, you're looking to work in a particular environment. So tell them the reasons why you're looking to move on, and what challenges that you're looking for ahead as well. So wrap it up into personal, business, and the future. Be informative, tell them what you enjoyed and achieved and what you've learned. And I think that should wrap up a nice sort of 3 or 4 minute story about yourself.
Fantastic. Well, that's great information as always, Rob. Is there any resources that candidates can download?
Absolutely. I think there's a whole load of interview tips all over the internet overall. We've tried to pull them all together, to be honest with you. We've got a bumper pack of resources together for you, and you can download that from the site. We'll pop the link up just at the end of this video, Ivan.
Great. Well, Rob, we'll see you very soon.
Thanks, Ivan. Cheers.